welcome to tonight's Zoom at 8, everybody. I am Julianne Peterson, and I want to welcome you to another great night of Zoom at 8. Every Tuesday night, we are here. And I want to thank you for making it a priority. You know, when there are opportunities 7 nights a week to be with your friends and family, you take one night out to be with us. And I want to tell you that we are a group of winners here. We have closed 6 deals. So are you going to be number 7? Again, my name is Julianne Peterson. I'm with Old Capital Lending, and we close multifamily deals. In fact, we have closed 5,800 to date. We close $1 billion a year. So we are excited to have you here to understand what and how we can help you close multifamily. Now, we do offer loans outside of multifamily, like senior and student housing, mobile home parks, anything like the other commercial loans that are out there, we can help you with. I want to let you know that tonight we have a special speaker. I'm just super excited tonight because I first met up with the Quattro Capital people a couple of years ago when they were just starting, with Aaron and with Kim and with Chad, and now with Maurice and Tammy, and now we've got other folks like Amy on board. And so they're doing some really cool stuff. And I wanted to bring in Maurice because Maurice is, you know, he's living the dream. He really is. And so I want to do a quick introduction to Maurice, and then we're going to push it over and we're going to kind of make this just a kind of a chat. And Maurice comes with so much information and knowledge, and he's a senior executive, a real estate investor, an entrepreneur, a restaurant owner. He's explored 100 countries. He's a public servant. He's a federal agent and a police officer, a philanthropist, and a lifestyles design wealth coach. His passion is giving life and leveraging these five freedom principles: financial freedom, time freedom, geographic freedom, and freedom of purpose and relationships. So I'm really excited for him to share a little bit about that. He uses real estate and professional careers to generate passive income. We all want passive income, and I think you'll be very inspired by how Maurice is looking at passive income. And he's building legacy wealth while empowering communities and helping others live their best life now through lifestyle design. Maurice is based in Washington, D.C. and in the Mediterranean region. So tonight I'm super excited to hear from you, Maurice. I welcome you to Zoom at 8. It's a pretty special group. We're excited to hear about you. Before we have you jump on, if everybody would go over to their view, the little boxes at the right-hand side, top right-hand side, and go to speaker view. And then we can give all of our attention. Well, there's Kevin's face is on mine. So if you would say something, we'll go ahead and get Maurice on, see Maurice's face here shortly.
Can you hear
me? Are you there? There you go.
Yeah, I'm here.
There is Maurice. Thank you, Maurice, for taking time out of your night tonight away from your son. I saw you give him a little peck on the cheek, and just thank you so much for joining us tonight.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Everyone's time is valuable, so I appreciate all you guys' time as well.
Yeah, and you know what? I love everything. Did you put that whole thing together behind you? Your green screen? Look at that.
No, I won't take. That's Chad's thunder right there. Chad and
Oh,
Ken.
yeah. I mean, I can PayPal you. I can scan you. I can deposit my rent check over there. It's amazing.
Yeah, we like to be
fantastic.
automated in everything that we do. So if somebody needs my contact information, grab your phone, open the camera, and just scan that barcode. It'll save everything to your phone.
Oh man, you're making it so easy. So, oh my goodness. So where are you located right now?
Yeah, so I'm in Washington, D.C. right now, specifically Silver Spring, Maryland, probably about a mile northeast of the Washington, D.C. border in Maryland.
Oh man, there's so much going on there. I'm not sure if that's a great place to be now or a struggle, but I'm anxious to hear about what the value of real estate has for your life, because
Yeah.
all of us are trying to figure out what pieces do you like, what pieces do you need someone else to be doing? What has the value of real estate done for you in your life? I'm
Yeah.
curious.
I am happy to talk about that. And to be very clear, real estate is not my life at all. Real
Mhm.
estate is a very small portion of my life that I use and leverage to create a lifestyle for myself that I've kind of always wanted. And I'm not talking about a money perspective. I'm talking about from a freedom perspective, freedom of choices, freedom of time, freedom to be anywhere in the world that I want to be. Um, so real estate is the tool that I have used to create that level of freedom. So that's why it's so important to me. And folks like Amy and Vish and even Marcellus there, who we've talked on LinkedIn quite a bit, know that I am always espousing freedom principles and what real estate can do for it. So when you ask me what real estate means to me, it has kind of been my lifeblood to push back against the system since I was 21. And doesn't mean I don't work. I work my butt off in the traditional W-2 jobs as well. It just gives me more power to do what I want, where I want, when I want.
Well, I mean, these pillars or the foundation that you
Yeah.
have, this five freedoms. I,
Yeah.
I mean, it's all encompassing, really, quite frankly. And you hit on so many different areas that are so important to focus on. I mean, you could probably take half an hour on each one of those five freedoms. I would
Yeah.
love for you to kind of walk us through, your process of identifying that these are truly the important pieces to freedoms in your life.
Yeah, and that's the key, right? My life. I don't push anything that I do or my values on somebody else. This is just how I have organized myself over time.
Mhm.
And it's not about five principles, it's about many principles because I've started to kind of take this on as a serious thing and study what other people are doing in the world. But I figured out when I was 21 that passive income gives you the ability to divorce your ability to make money from having to physically be somewhere. That level of financial freedom is what I wanted. So that was financial freedom, right? Having more passive income than expenses. And I think the mistake that a lot of people make is you think you need 5 million in the bank, 10 million in the bank. No, you don't. You just need more passive income than your expenses, secure your basic needs, and then you can grow your life from there. So I decided to secure my basic needs. And in 2014, I was making more money from real estate than I was from my six-figure corporate firm. And that was my goal when I started at 21, and it took me 14 years, but it didn't matter to me. So that's financial freedom. It's really important because it gives you options for other things. Time freedom is exactly what it sounds like. We all have 24 hours in a day. If we're sleeping 8 hours, which is necessary, then you're asleep 1/3 of your life. I need the rest of it to be available to me to do what I want to do on this planet. If we assume we live to 79 years old and the rest is gravy, you've got 28,000 days on this planet to get done what you want to get done. I ain't wasting any of it, which is why I have gone into multiple careers and traveled around the world. It's not that I'm trying to tick off every single box. It's that I'm trying to live extremely well, and you need time freedom to do it. So I've automated my life. I am somewhat of a minimalist. I don't buy a lot of stuff. I don't get mail anywhere. It all comes in automated into an interface. I do these things because I want a particular lifestyle. Geographic freedom is exactly what it sounds like. I think that we as adults, especially, kind of hold ourselves down. You know, we get our primary home, we get our mortgages, we get our cars, we are stuck to the same city. I don't, for me, the ability to move around and be mobile means that I have ability to go learn new things in different places. And to be honest, money does not reside in your home. You have to go to money. Money is out there somewhere, if that's your value, right? You got to get out and network. You got to get out and see properties. You got to get out and get to opportunities. Those opportunities don't exist on your street only. They exist in the world. So whether I'm in the US or Europe or in the Mediterranean, that geographic freedom is important. The last two are really bubbling to the surface now that I'm in my mid-40s. Purpose. I didn't become a police officer for the paycheck. That's kind of obvious. I'm still a street cop today, although I'm starting the process of retiring. I think when you are purpose driven, like I was when I was 21, you will do the things that I did, which was give up my 20s to get my financial freedom and not really go out a lot, because I wanted to pay off my single family portfolio so I could have passive income. I had purpose behind it. When we have purpose behind stuff, we will do the bullshit job to get to what it is that we want. And then finally, relationships. Julianne, this is exactly what you're doing for all of us. You are giving us the ability to connect with other people who have maybe similar values, maybe synergistic goals. Who knows, right? I'm not necessarily talking about networking, though. I'm talking about the ability to garner new relationships with different people. If I don't meet Ed Moselle, who I now know is up in New York and likes to partner, what's up, my guy, Ed? Then I am not growing as much as I can, because there's things Ed can teach me and there's things that I can teach Ed. That goes for Jay Boone, that goes for Chris Pauling, that goes for Selena, that goes for Lee. Relationships are everything in this world. So I just kind of articulated those freedom principles. There are a couple more, but I structure my life after those things. And not once did you hear me say real estate was the defining thing. It just powers all of that. And that's kind of how I structure my day to day.
Wow, that is amazing stuff. I mean, very valuable, and as you said, for yourself. But I think, you know, every one of us is touched by each one of those. Yeah. And guidelines and boundaries really come out of those as a goal setting, to keep those very clean and wholesome, and close to yourself. So I know you've talked about in the past mindset and systematic patience.
Oh yeah. You've heard
Tell me about that, because I can certainly have the mindset, and we can all set goals every January about what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I find myself to be challenged in the patience area, to be dedicated every day to one step towards that, keeping the mindset clear to that goal. I'm curious, how do you keep your mindset and on a daily basis towards walking towards with systematic patience?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 45 now, and when I was in my late 20s, I said I was gonna do business overseas, and I just started, and I'm 45. That's 16 years ago I said that. I knew it was gonna come. It was just a matter of time. Somehow I figured out in my mid 20s this thing. I didn't articulate it as systematic patience, but what I did was I started buying single family condos, and I took the revenue from Accenture, which is the global consulting firm I'm an exec for, and the military, which I was on the reserve side most of the time, but did a lot of active duty. I took the paycheck, the first paycheck I took the paycheck out of consulting, the paycheck from the military. I bought a condo. I took the cash flow from the condo, the paycheck from the military, the paycheck from the consulting firm, and I bought a second one. And I bought a third one. And I bought a fourth one. And I didn't waver, because at some point I figured, I was like, man, if I pay these things off, they're making about $900 to $1,000 each. Well, that's it. That's all I got to do is pay these things off. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I just knew that I needed to get these assets and apply patience, I guess, right? And start paying them off over time. But what started to happen was in DC at the time, if anyone lives in DC, you might remember, somebody was in Upper Marlboro, but you might remember in the boom in the 2000s, there were new construction condos being built in Northern Virginia and DC. You could put a down payment on one for 25 grand, right? So let's say the sales price was 250. You put a down payment for 25 grand. By the time it was built a year later, the condo was worth $400,000, right? So I lived in the condo for 6 months, 7 months to appease the mortgage, got out of it, sold it, but did not spend the money on crap like cars and clothes and stuff. I started paying off the loans and then using my salary to continue to pay off the loans, bonuses, tax returns, etc., to the point where I got to 18 paid off single family homes by 2014. That whole process taught me systematic patience works. And by systematic patience, what I mean is, like, I chose a system. There were a lot of shiny balls out there that, hey, you can make money quicker over here, or you can make money quicker over here. There's Bitcoin now, there's Ethereum now. You can go flip houses, you can do this. Condos are the most unsexy thing in the world you can invest in. It is a slow grind, but it didn't matter because as long as I could secure my primary basic needs, which is my expenses. I had my first son at the time, and I was a single dad. As long as I could secure us both, I could do anything else I wanted to do. So I secured us both using systematic patience, and now I have that for just about everything else that I do.
Well, it's inspiring because patience is not one of my better qualities. And I look to growing that patience. I have 4 kids. People say, oh, you got a lot of patience, but it can be, patience is something that is challenging for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. So again, I told you I knew the Quattro, although it wasn't Quattro, it was Kim and Aaron and Chad and Tammy. Yeah. How did you find them? How did they find you? We've got a lot of new investors here.
Yeah.
And I always say, be an LP first. Invest in deals. How? Yeah, I really truly believe it's the right thing.
I got stories for you behind that.
Well, so these guys are doing deals, and all of a sudden, we see Maurice is in the mix. So how did you put yourself in there? How did you get involved with them? I mean, I'm really curious because a lot of people say, I got to find a sponsor, and I got to, be friends with them, and I got to show them deals, and, you got to find out what they want. How did you roll yourself into that mix? I'm very curious.
Yeah, I donated money out of the kindness of my heart to a charity, and it led to Quattro Capital we will do $100 million of business this year. That's how it started. I did a couple multifamily deals on my own, but to your point, Julie, my first multifamily, I was an LP for $100,000. That $100,000, that deal was supposed to be a 3-year hold, maybe 5, but it sold out in 18 months because the market shifted. So that 100 turned into 230. But what I did with that LP was I just paid attention. PPM, subscription agreement, offering memorandum, all that stuff, and learned it. Did a couple deals on my own, a couple mobile home parks, some smaller multifamily. And then what happened was relationships. I was seeking them out. I wasn't just seeking relationships, I was seeking knowledge because I had press repeat on that single family system for so long that I wasn't growing as a person anymore. So I jumped to multifamily, but it took me 2 years to do that first LP deal. When I started doing my deals, I started going to conferences. One of the conferences was in Boston. Aaron was there. We had talked before, but Aaron got on stage, I think this is 2018, and she asked people to donate to her charity where she's building homes in Nicaragua for deserving families. I donated $5,000. We just became friends over time. Like 7 or 8 months later, she called me because her, Chad, and Kim were doing a deal and they needed a sponsor. And I have other business ventures outside of real estate, so I had a fair balance sheet. Sponsored them on a deal. But what happened during that 36-unit deal was that we realized that we were better together. That deal went so fast and so smoothly because everybody took different portions of it, different bits of responsibility. I think we started October 19th. We closed sometime in January of 20, decided to form Quattro. And we've done 11 complexes together since, right? In like 15 months, 14 months. We'll close on another 3 by the end of July. And that's kind of how it all started. It was not because I was looking to make money somewhere. It's because I was kind of following these life principles, if you will, of like, I want to learn something. So I want to learn something, and I have purpose of giving back to community. So just donating to her charity was something, and it led to this dynamic organization that we've started, and I'm very happy about it.
Well, I'm thrilled for you. I mean, that's huge success over a 15-month period. I mean, only many people don't get the opportunity to be involved in a group like, and have such success. So, way to go, Maurice. That is just incredible. what do you bring to your team? Everybody says, find the partner, find what you're good at, bring it to your partnership. So what do you do? What do you bring?
That's a good one right there. You know what? I'm not the tip of the spear guy anymore. I'm not the guy going out to find the properties. Remember when I said I secured my basic needs, my desire for money started to dip because the more I started making money, the more nothing was changing in my life. It had nothing to do with money, right? What I wanted was experiences. So being a federal agent, being a police officer, traveling around the world, that was more important to me. So when we started Quattro, we were trying to figure out roles. I did start looking for property along with the team, but we have now since settled into our natural strengths. And my natural strength is with people. Kim calls me a protector. That might be from my military, police, immigrant family background, but a lot of what I do is spend time with potential investor partners, because people, the amount of money that people quote unquote invest in opportunities, go ahead and equate that money to how many hours and how much stress they expended to create that money. It is not just money. It is people's life energy that's in it. And if someone is a cash flow investor because they live off cash flow, then you don't want to put them in an equity deal. That makes no sense. So I like spending time with people, but also equating this stuff to what you can do to exit things like the W-2 world if you want to exit out of the rat race if you want to prepare yourself for life legacy if you want to. Like these type of investments, or any investment, not just real estate, can truly set people up for a better life. That's where I love spending time with people. And the other thing is, because I've been in so many different industries, I'm white collar, blue collar, no collar. I don't give two bits if it's a general, a CEO, a homeless guy that I'll sit by because he's having a mental breakdown. I don't care. And, having been around the world, I've developed a lot of empathy for different cultures and what have you. So I'm just a very well-rounded person, and that lends itself to spending time on the investor side and helping people develop. So that's on the investor side. And then, I mentor folks, and then I find amazing people like Amy to join our crew because she's kicking butt for and with us, with her, for her own goals as well. So I'm just more the people-oriented person. And the last thing I'll say about that is, I am always looking for people to put a hand down the ladder to, not a hand out, but a hand up. I've had some very interesting people help me over time. And if not for them, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So I try and do the same. So it's all people stuff, Julie.
Some of this, being a people person, may come easy to you, but may not come easy to an underwriter, let's say, right? I mean, they could be. So I love that you have found, each one of you have found, and Erin really knows what her passion is, and it's people, and encouraging, to find that passion, to be able to bring that. I mean, talking to people, it, like I say, it can be easy. I've been, at the littlest time of my life with, 3 or 4, I'm over there waving to people in church. It started very young for me. So I love that you have found your passion within your group.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you struggle with? I would say, and that's 2 ways: outside of your group, but also inside of your team. And you don't have to go into big details, but I want to really shine a light on that. Hey, these relationships are grown over time. You can't call us up and say, hey, I need a sponsor. You really need to start those relationships before you get into a deal. So maybe talk about, every team has maybe challenges. How have you guys worked together to get through some of those challenges? Has somebody, maybe taken a different role, or have you guys all come in and said this and been on the same page? Because I think that's really kind of difficult. Talk about that.
we are generally on the same page. I call us a family operating as a company. You know, prior to Quattro forming, I got invited into GP groups. I ran from them because many of those GP groups were just about money or just about raising the rents to the peak of the market. That impacts residents and things of that nature. The values that I see in the 4 people and now additional like Amy, those are the type of people I want to work with. So no matter what, we're going to work through our challenges. I would only say that we are at different junctures in life, right? So sometimes the goals may not totally align, but they're pretty good. Like Chad's a rock star, right? He's low 30s, kicked corporate America's butt, exited because he's got real estate. Chad is going to grow something massive, where my mindset is about freedom and experiencing life. So there may be a rub there sometimes because I'm not always the go, scale guy. That's not what I am. But I am willing to go and scale if I'm impacting a community. So for example, Amy knows this story. We have a property in Atlanta. It's been tough. It's in the inner city. We opened a third of the building to homeless and families affected by homelessness. I am pretty much running asset management. I've been on the ground at the property. I've probably spent way too much time on this property, but that's because there's purpose behind it. So for those types of things, I'll do it because I know now if you go to that complex, the residents will tell you it has dramatically changed. I feel so good about that effort. That's where I'll hustle for that. What I won't hustle for is like, we got to get 8 properties in the pipeline. No, I don't. Like I have enough money to live. So that's not where I push. But as long as I see purpose in something, I think you can support your partner's goals. Just like they support mine. They know that it's a value for me to be doing my work in the Mediterranean right now and building my life and building my properties over there. So when I'm over in Lebanon or when I'm over in Cyprus, they deal with me being 7 hours ahead. Like, Mo, we got you. Go ahead and do the stuff you want to do. Because I'm at that point in life where I need to be doing certain other things as well. But Quattro's got me for a long time.
That is so inspiring and really, instead of trying to fight that, you've really looked at the positives that you're bringing to that group. And sometimes we don't get to that depth. So that really shows you guys are really aligned. What do you think contributes to the success of Quattro? Where do you think that, I know you talk about inspiring, going in and working in these areas. What do you think for other people here in the group? What do you think has been the success for taking down this many deals? I'm curious. I mean, it is a numbers game. You got to have money behind you. But gosh, how many of us have jumped into LOI after LOI or offer and offer and not getting anywhere? And then to have you, Mr. Rockstar, show up and you got all of this. How does that happen?
Listen, the way that I did my first multifamily was just leveraging my experience in single family and proving that I had some experience behind it. With what we're doing now, I mean, for the first few deals, it was a bit of it's still a grind, right?
Yeah.
You know what we did that was right? We didn't act like we knew everything. We didn't. We got a business coach to help us build the business. We didn't want to work in the business. We wanted to work on the business, right? So how do we align our roles and responsibilities? How are we going to automate the business? What secondary and tertiary responsibilities which each individual have. We needed someone external to give a bird's eye view or a view from above, right? Forest for the trees, on how we could organize ourselves. Cool. What are your primary skills? Chad, I've never seen somebody do numbers the way he does. I mean, he's created our own underwriting, which frankly, I've used maybe 4 or 5 different commercial products. It kills them. It kills them. That's Chad. I can't. That's not where I roll, right? Tammy runs all of our transitions now. Comes out of acquisitions. Tammy picks it up, pulls it into our portfolio, does all the transitioning with the financial institutions, working with Vicinia wherever, I don't know where she is. She's somewhere in here. There's Kimra. And Kimra knows this, right? Kimra's property manager for several of our, I don't want to say property manager, partner, because we got some heavy business plan stuff to do, Kimra, don't we? We just never acted like we knew everything. I still don't know everything. I own a couple mobile home parks now. This is pre-Quattro days, and Amy is pushing right now for us to get into that asset for reasons that we've talked about. I don't know everything, and I have never espoused to you that I knew everything about mobile home parks. Have I, Amy? No. See, like we're just humble from that respect. We look for help, we seek it, we automate, we back each other up. Chad just had a baby, so we forced him to take a couple weeks off. Just get a good I mean, you have to build a team. My suggestion here, I'll just sum it up with this. My suggestion to you is, what is your personal goal for what you want to get accomplished? If you want to build a big business in this real estate stuff, I'd really suggest that you ask yourself why, honestly. Because if you're saying that you want to make money so you can be free or move around the planet or whatever, you just need like 1 or 2 deals, 1, 2, or 3 deals, and for one to go through disposition and you'll be done. But if you want to grow a larger firm, there's got to be a purpose behind it, and you need to align yourself with people who have synergistic skills. There's no way I get 11 deals done in 15 months by myself. How? It's not physically possible, right? So while I was on a webinar today with potential investors for a deal we're doing in Texas, Tammy was in Georgia today running physical diligence on a 240 unit portfolio that we have under contract. We're splitting everything up and always backing each other up constantly. So that's kind of how we've done it, and it's worked extremely well.
Got a lot of meat on that comment. I so appreciate it. I think you're adding so much value to our group here, and I want to thank you for that. Where's your favorite market?
I lean on Amy for that. You know what? So case in point, Amy helps us understand and does research on markets quarterly based on factors that we've defined that are really important to us. I don't need to go research the markets. I have Amy. Amy does not need to go and I literally spend 5 hours a day on the phone with potential investors. I don't need Amy to do that. I got Amy's back for that. So for potential markets right now, it's anywhere that we can take our investors' money and with certainty know that we're at least going to double it within 5 years. Obviously, there's market semantics for that, employment growth, even what's happening with COVID now, employers in the particular area. So we're heavy right now in Georgia, Tennessee, a little bit in Texas, some northern Alabama. But right now, I'd have to say the markets that are doing well for Quattro investors, and that's Tennessee, Georgia, and soon to be Texas.
Anything in Oklahoma, or do we walk away from Oklahoma? Aren't you guys working?
This is like pre-Quattro kind of.
Yeah.
Quattro. Yeah, we looked at it a little bit, but we have gotten so much better in a year, understanding what it is exactly we're looking for, that right now Oklahoma doesn't match our values for what we want for our investors. Got it.
Yeah, and I think that's a really key thing to understand. Your investors, really surveying them. You had made a point earlier about the investments, the type of investments, and putting the people in the right investments. So do you usually go after the same type of asset with the same type of return with the same type of time frame, or do you kind of mix it up because your investors want different things? And it's really difficult, I have to say, to try and do everything for everybody.
Kind of, unless you have a Chad who knows how to structure deals like crazy, where we can do tiered structure, maybe having a pref on cash flow only, and then a little bit lighter of a percentage return with upside on the back end. But the answer to your question is, we won't even look in markets that don't match our criteria. That's the first thing. But the second thing is listening to the people who are going to give you the opportunity to help them grow financially. If you know why we have a 2-tiered system right now, because we kept hearing from people that some of them wanted more certainty. Okay, so we'll give a 10 pref on a Class A1, and maybe we'll give a 6 pref on a Class A2, but that Class A2 will benefit from the upside on the back end. But someone who's in her, like I'm thinking of a particular person right now, she's 74 years old. She lives off of cash flow. So she wanted a shorter term, high yield. Nothing's perfect, right? But shorter term, higher yield. Okay, so let's find you a deal that has a 3-year term, potentially 2-year if we like knock it out of the park. I'm thinking of a deal that Amy's working on right now. She'll get 10% on her money for sure because it's cash flowing now. She is comfortable with that. While there are other investors, a friend of mine took cash out of their home. They were sitting on a home that had $1 million of equity in it. Trusted me in conversations. They pulled it out, but we're using it to build long-term wealth. So I want them in the very heavy equity upside deals to make it worth their while, right? So no, we don't look for the same thing. We look for what our investors are asking for.
My goodness, I saw a lot of shaking heads on that one, that your comments there, just so phenomenal. I would love to open this up to everybody and see if there's any questions in the audience, any questions that you guys have that could benefit other people. Maybe you're just wanting to know what color socks, Maurice likes to wear. I don't know. So feel free to come to the front. I've got Kenneth, who's got a question.
I do have a question. Maurice, great to have you here. Thanks for your presentation and discussion here. Are you interested in joining other, say, operators or sponsors on their deals, or Quattro joining with other groups to do things like this? Because I'm kind of on the opposite of you. I like people, but I don't like to talk to people about money. And so I like to bring in people who love to do that and love to change people's lives in that way. Is that the kind of thing that you're interested in doing, or are you all trying to stay just kind of within Quattro?
No, we'll definitely partner. I mean, the deal that we closed last week was 128 unit in Tennessee. That deal, we partnered with Urban Gate Capital, a buddy of ours named Brandon Thornberry. But the thing of it is, we before the deal, okay, I'm just going to be blunt. I'm not getting involved with anyone I don't like or who doesn't show integrity. I don't have to. I want to be around people that make me better, that I can learn something from. And then if you and I can do something that can directly benefit residents or the people that we're trying to serve, then dude, I'm all for it. I think Julie's right though. This notion, like I will get calls and emails about, hey, I have a deal, let's partner today. I have no idea who you are. Like I can't go to people I know that trust me with their funds and say, hey, let's go invest in this person's deal, so 12% return. So what? Like you can get 12%, 20% in many, many people's deals. It's value system. So of course I'm not talking about you, Ken. You know what I mean. But of course we will partner. We've partnered in the past. We're partnering now on a deal. Oh, I see the Blackburns. We're partnering now on a deal that our other alliance partners here, the Blackburns, are doing right now, and that's the partnership. That property that was brought to us, we have similar values to the people that brought it. Aaron knew them. One more time, I don't scrutinize people when my partners tell me that they are the right people for me to get involved with. So that was a long-winded answer, Ken, but yeah, for sure, man. If it's something we can do together and help each other, yeah, I'm all for exploring it.
Great, thanks.
Love it. All right, who else is in the house that has a question? Anybody? Yes, Ruben? You ask questions every day on your podcast, so this is awesome.
Yeah, I've had Maurice on the show.
Ruben!
Hey, what's up, brother? How are you? Hey, man, I'm curious if you could share a little bit about putting the systems and partners in place so that you can go out and live a lifestyle of design out in different countries, because I think that's not something that a lot of people talk about. And part two of my question, I can repeat it if you don't get them both. Yeah. But second part would be like, how did you put together your partnership with the Quattro Capital guys? Because I haven't heard too much about your partners, even though I'm getting ready to talk to Dr. Aaron pretty soon here.
Oh, we've been busy. That's why you haven't heard from us, I guess. The lifestyle design stuff. Thank you for bringing that, because I said at the beginning of the call that real estate is not my life. It's something I just use to power my life. Ruben knows about this well, because we had a really great conversation a while ago on the fact that I am not interested in putting my name on the side of a building. Zero. I have zero ego. I have zero interest. My interest is living life well. I think that as adults, sometimes we get into this rat race thing. I don't like it. I need constant learning. The way that I do constant learning is by traveling and immersing in culture. So I've made the conscious decision that any business venture that I get into, I can run it from this laptop and that cell phone. Ruben knows this as well. I mentioned to you guys, my mail is automated. It comes into something called Earth Class Mail. I check my mail once a month. Any checks that happen to show up in mail get automatically routed to banking institutions on purpose. The way I talk to Amy and the Blackburns and Kimra at some point, obviously through text, through WhatsApp, we have Google chat groups. Like, we are setting ourselves up. I'm purposely set up such that I can run anything and be accountable to Ankit, for example. If you're my investor or you're my partner and I get a text from you and I happen to be in Lebanon or I happen to be in Turkey, it will tell me and you will get a call right back. It is no different than if I'm in the United States than I am if I'm over in the Mediterranean or Finland or something like that. I have structured my life like that on purpose. Now, I am a police officer. I am a police officer and I am an executive for a consulting firm. But what I did with those employers, and I won't go too far into this, was structure them such that when I need to go, I go. So I will do things like leave on a Wednesday night, come back on a Monday, probably once a month, and pick a different place to go or go do some business overseas. Anyways, I think this real estate thing or any investing thing should be to have a good life. Now, if having a good life is kicking it on Main Street and having a six-pack of Miller Lite and you're happy at home and that makes you happy, fantastic. I think that's good too. But for me, I got to get the hell out of here. I need to experience the world. And that's kind of what Ruben is alluding to.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, part 2 of the question was, how did you put together your partnership with the Quattro Capital group?
Well, I explained how we met, and then we just started exploring what a legal partnership would look like. And I don't know if you were here, Ruben, when I explained it, but I sponsored a deal for Aaron with the other partners, and then Tammy joined in later. It's very easy for us to be a partnership because three of us are already family members. Tammy, Kim, and Chad are family members. And then Aaron and I knew each other before. So now we've organized ourselves kind of as a family that operates as a business. I call all 3 of the women my sisters and Chad my little brother. Look, if you can go to work and talk to your people on Zoom 5 times a day and feel that way about them, you're doing pretty good. But we explored all the legal. Don't get me wrong, everything legally is in place and we re-vet ourselves constantly. I'm not gonna do Quattro for the rest of my life. I got stuff to do, but I do expect to be here for 10 to 15 years and see through any investor I bring into our family.
Great stuff. Love it. All right. One more question. If anybody has it, let's get it out on the table right now. Anybody? I don't know. Maybe you've done such an amazing job telling us about you. And Aaron is in the house. Thank you, Aaron, for coming tonight. What is your question?
Hey, Maurice, I haven't seen you in a while. How you been, man?
What's up, dude? I'm good.
Hey, so you talk about, how is your time management? Because I mean, you do so much.
Yeah.
So what is your time management? I mean, we talked about this before in mine, but what is your time management, just to give people perspective of how you can do all this stuff and still be able to travel, still do the things you can do?
You'll do what you put your mind to. I don't really. Let's see. It's almost 9:30 here. I already know I'm going to be up at 4 o'clock because I need to get to the gym by 4:30. It's a choice, right? Tomorrow or this morning, I was up early and worked on real estate related stuff from 4 to 8 a.m. I'm working on a disposition right now of a property in Atlanta, and it's my responsibility. So I got up and I worked on it. Took care of my little one before he went to school, did some home stuff, worked on consulting all day. if I was still doing police like truly actively, I may be patrolling right after this meeting. Amy has seen, you guys, some of you have seen that quite a bit. I'm just a believer that you can create time if I do the 4 a.m. to 8 a.m., that's 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, that's 20 hours a week, 80 hours a month, 960 hours a year. That's an extra 5 weeks in a year. Create the time. I create it. Sometimes I wake up at 2 a.m, get some stuff done. Sometimes I'll work on a plane. I just organize my life such that I am maximizing the day. Oh, there's one more thing. I don't do a brown time anymore. I don't binge watch TV. I don't really hit the bars anymore. I don't do anything that doesn't make the boat go faster. If the act like this, I'm tired. I had a long day. I told you I was up at 4, but this, Julie and Aaron, your question, this is making the boat go faster. There is somebody here that I'm going to do a deal with or forget the deal, become friends with, or we're going to share ideas. We're going to break bread together. This is worth it. Like, this is the good green stuff that we should all be doing because life is good. Now, if you want to go watch TV and stuff, that's cool too. I'm a movie buff, so I do watch TV movies to unplug, but I just don't waste time anymore. I told you, we only got 28,000 days on this planet, so I don't really feel like wasting time anymore, and I'm not waiting till I'm 75 to do the things I want to do, so I make time.
Fantastic. I think that, you hit on a lot of stuff because I think time management can be looked at as a real struggle. But you know what? You do what you love what you do, and you make time for it. So I do agree with you on that. So, hey, Maurice, the common question, how does somebody get a hold of you? How do we get to know you on a personal level?
Personal level, please. My name is, there it is, it's Maurice Philogene. Instagram is everything personal. The travels, my thought process about freedom. Man, I love Instagram. If you go to Instagram, you'll kind of see what I've kind of gotten into. I'm always on LinkedIn espousing things. I think I've gotten very vocal on LinkedIn about the rat race. I can't stand it. It's necessary, but we should leverage it to live life the way we want. Life is not the rat race at all. So I'm definitely on LinkedIn. I would be honored if you would visit the quattroway.com. Quattro, it's right up there in my image there, quattroway.com. Check out the video. There is an introduction video for me about why I'm in this real estate thing, trying to help people. And then there's a link for all the podcasts that I've been on and what have you. And I think that's it. And then you can scan that barcode. That'll give my contact information. I always return phone calls. Always, always, always.
That's what Christian says. He says you're very responsive. So way to go. We like that.
You got to take time. People's time is valuable. Even if it's a minute, you can holler back by text, voice text, call, something, email, something.
Yeah. Well, we could probably go on for a couple hours, and it's a lot of meat in this conversation. So I do appreciate your time, your thoughts, your ideas, your patience. You're very enlightening, and just really want to thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. A lot of us are learning and connecting, and I believe, as you said, there's somebody in this room that you've inspired, and you'll be doing business. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. And